The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
Hello, all you pop culture lovers. Welcome to the Culture POPCast. This is where we have conversations, interviews, and discussions around pop culture from the vintage era to today. I am Sarah Woloski, and I want everyone to please say hello to my very own Captain Picard, my husband, Richard Woloski.
Captain Picard?
Oh, yeah.
I wish I had that robust English accent.
Me too.
I can't even pretend to have a robust English accent. What do you mean, you two?
Well, his voice is just amazing.
It is amazing. I'm not going to deny that. Just listen to his voiceovers in the movie Ted. It's like,
I know.
My goodness. And we've been watching Star Trek Next Generation.
Yes, we have. Oh, you got to get on a kick on that every once in a while. And it just popped up in my Netflix again. And I'm like, I could watch this series through for the third time. It's amazing.
You know, when you had mentioned Picard, the first thing that popped in my head was his voiceover in the Seth MacFarlane movie, Ted.
John became instantly attached to Teddy. There was something about that bear that made him feel as if he finally had a friend with whom he could share his deepest secrets.
I love you!
Really?
Even though you'd been watching Star Trek Next Generation for the last couple of weeks, boom, there it is.
Not for me. But, well, Picard is in my head also because there's going to be a Picard TV series called Star Trek Picard. They really wanted to get the SEO right for that one. And that's going to air on CBS All Access. I'm really excited because he's my favorite captain.
"15 years ago, today, you led us out of the darkness. You commanded the greatest rescue armada in history. Then, the unimaginable. What did that cost you? Your faith? Your faith in us? Your faith in yourself? Tell us, why did you leave Starfleet, Admiral?
The series will be on CBS All Access. It's going to be 10 episodes. And of course, Patrick Stewart is back 20 years later after Next Generation. And it's going to air at the end of 2019.
Now, for those of you just joining us, these first several episodes of the Culture POPcast focus on one-on-one interviews we were able to record at Wondercon 2019 back in March.
Yeah,
with several creators working in the film and TV industry. And this particular episode that we're doing right now, we're going to celebrate the 35th anniversary of The Karate Kid.
that's right. Yeah, we're going to feature composers Leo Birenberg and Zach Robinson, who co-wrote the music for the series that comes after The Karate Kid. This is actually a YouTube premium series called Cobra Kai. And Cobra Kai was so popular on YouTube that it got a second season, which released the weekend of WonderCon 2019.
War never ends. Peace is just the lull between battles. The real story's only just begun.
You want to finish this?
Bring it on.
Cobra Kai. This is a fantastic series, and it's a continuation of the Karate Kid film series and takes place 34 years after the original film with the reopening of the Cobra Kai Karate Dojo.
Nice.
And it has returning cast members, including Ralph Macchio as Daniel Larusso, William Zabka as Johnny Lawrence.
William Zabka.
Yeah.
You have to say Zabka.
Everyone say that name right now. Zabka.
Zabka.
That's a great name.
It is.
And Martin Kove as the original Cobra Kai instructor, John Kreese. Oh, this was a very bad guy. Very, very, very bad cat.
Indeed.
Now, before we talk with our composers, let's go over some Karate Kid fun facts.
Awesome.
First of all, did you see Karate Kid in the theater, Sarah?
No, I didn't.
You were 3.
I didn't see the Karate Kid until it was a couple years ago, right? And you showed it to me. I think, Ralph Macchio was on Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
And we watched that series religiously,
Yeah.
which, by the way, where is Dancing with the Stars?
I don't know, but yeah, when I just mentioned watching Karate Kid 2 and 3, it's like, wait a minute, I'm going through my mental archives. Did we must have watched Karate Kid. Mm-hmm. And I think that must have been the same time as that Karate Kid remake came out with Willow Smith.
Did we see that?
Nope, and we're not going to either. Not whatsoever. All right, so now let's go over some Karate Kid fun facts. Now, the idea of the Karate Kid film series came from producer Jerry Weintraub as he heard a story in 1983 about a scrawny teen being bullied who later became a martial artist.
Wow.
You know what? It's a very simple story, and those simple stories always work best.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's head to not box office this time, but because this was an 80s film, let's look at video rentals. So, actually, Karate Kid was the top rental video of 1985. Right behind it was The Terminator, Police Academy, and Romancing the Stone.
This is something that's got to be on Ralph Macchio's resume.
Oh,
Karate
yeah.
Kid was first, and right behind it was The Terminator.
Okay.
All right, now, the yellow classic automobile that Daniel polishes in the famous wax-on, wax-off training scene was actually given to Ralph Macchio by the producer, and he still owns it.
That's super cool.
Yeah, the car is a 1948 Ford Super Deluxe, and you can get one on eBay for just $25,000.
Okay.
Which is not a bad price for a 1948 car. I love it when the film stars get props and wardrobe from the film, and they keep it, and then they do autograph signings wearing like a jacket.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, and
Right.
I love that.
Reynold, it must be well waxed.
Can I stop waxing this now, please? I get it. Wax on, wax off. I get it.
All right, so
The karate moves.
how old was Ralph Macchio during the filming? If he got a car, like, was he old enough to drive at that point?
Yeah, he was in the film. He was about 16, 17.
Right.
A high school student.
Okay.
He was 22.
What?
Yeah. He could,
When
he
he
could-
filmed it?
Yes.
What?
He could legally drink and vote.
He doesn't look it.
No. And he still doesn't look 22.
No.
And he's like in his 50s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now, according to William Zabka, the character he portrays, Johnny, a big bully, still irks many people. Some have tried to start fights with him. He even has to convince them that the role was specifically written for this movie. Now, a couple of years ago, like in the year 2001, I went to the Santa Barbara Film Festival and to show the film Duck Duck, and William Zabka was there showing his short film.
Oh, cool.
And I was being interviewed by the local TV station, and William was standing right behind me because they wanted to talk to him next. And the whole time I'm being interviewed, I'm like looking over my shoulder, going, "Is this guy gonna slam me into a body bag?" Those are the thoughts, because I just associated him with Johnny from Karate Kid.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I can see how people, he's out on the town one Friday night, and you're drunk. You see Johnny. Of course, you want to pick a fight with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially if you're drunk. Yeah, you do stupid things when you're drunk.
Yeah. And plus, I just wanted to say Zabka, Zabka, Zabka to him.
I bet.
But I'm sure he's a very nice man.
Okay. Were there any other fun facts for Karate Kid?
Oh, plenty. Now, Toshiro Mifune auditioned for the role of Mr. Miyagi, and according to director John G. Avildsen in the DVD commentary, Mifune was great in the audition, but Avildsen felt that his version of Miyagi was too serious and too much like the samurai warriors he played in the Akira Kurosawa movies.
Okay.
And this was the actor who played the samurais that George Lucas got the idea for Ben Kenobi.
Ooh.
In fact, he wanted Toshiro Mifune to play Ben Kenobi in Star Wars.
Okay, so I'm assuming Toshiro Mifune is well known.
Very, very well known. Yes.
Okay, he's not well known to me.
He's like the Harrison Ford of the samurai movies.
Wow.
Yeah,
Holy
he's
buckets.
like the guy to go to.
Okay.
Which is why Lucas wanted him to play Ben Kenobi.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and he's a very, very serious Japanese actor and didn't really have the edge, the fun comedic edge that was needed for Mr. Miyagi, because Mr. Miyagi's got kind of a little Yoda in him.
Okay.
If
So he needs that, not goofiness exactly isn't the right word, but just that levity?
Yeah, when he's trying to throw off his opponent,
Okay.
but not showing his true self, like Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. And that's what Mr. Miyagi had done.
Okay.
And he had a little bit of a goofiness side in Karate Kid 2 when he's about to smash Kreese in the face. And in the end, he goes, beep, to his nose.
Oh.
Yeah. You think he's gonna karate chop his head off, and he comes down and beeps his nose. I could see Yoda doing something like that.
Yeah.
Now, this is another fun fact.
Okay.
At the time, Columbia Pictures was owned by Coca-Cola.
Whoa.
So you can probably see where this is going right now. And they insisted that the products appeared on screen.
Oh, boy.
Ralph Macchio objected to that. Not sure why he would, especially after having to say Minute Maid in the breakfast scene.
Instead of
orange juice. Hey, give me some Minute Maid. You don't say that. So I can understand that. Now, in Miyagi's workshop, he deliberately covered the Sprite logo with his hand, so they made him redo the scene.
Oops.
And this time, Ralph showed the Sprite logo the shortest time he could get away with it.
Okay.
Now, I saw some behind the scenes on Karate Kid, and Ralph kind of had an ego on this.
Really?
Yeah, you would think he was like a producer. You're Ralph Macchio. You have one film behind you, The Outsiders.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what has he done before that? So.
Yeah, exactly. And if the film studio says, you say Coca-Cola Minute Maid Sprite in every third line, you do it.
Right, exactly. It's like, that's how money works. That's how you're getting paid.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. It's not your call. Now, Kyle Eastwood, who later became a composer himself, auditioned for the role of Daniel Larusso, and when he failed to get the part, his father, Clint Eastwood, banned all Coke products from the sets of his movies.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I don't really believe that part whatsoever.
Okay. But that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, Clint should know that, hey, if you're not being hired for a part, there must be a reason.
Right.
So that's taking things a little too far. So, we're getting these fun facts from IMDb. So I'm not believing that one there.
Taking that one with a grain of salt.
Yeah. All right. So we have one more fun fact, Sarah. You read this one.
Okay. Karate Kid was the name of a character in DC Comics' Legion of Superheroes, and he was a member of the Legion. So DC Comics, who owned that name, actually gave special permission for the title to be used in Karate Kid. So thanks, DC Comics, for allowing the use of the name at the end of the credits.
I always wondered that. They always had a thanks to DC Comics.
Oh,
and
at the end of the credits.
Yeah. So I just figured maybe someone had picked up a comic book, and that's why they were thanking them. But now I know why.
Yeah. Okay, so it was because of the use of the name. Well, cool.
It's a catchy name, so I can see why they'd want to use it.
Indeed. Well, okay, after all those fun facts, I think now it's time to return to Cobra Kai, the new series, and let's hear from the Cobra Kai composers, Leo Birenberg and Zach Robinson, about the evolution of their music within this series. And the room we recorded in was really noisy, so I'm going to revoice my question so you can understand it a little better. Enjoy! Welcome to Skywalking Through Neverland, Zach and Leo. Now, Zach, I heard you worked with Christoph Beck, the composer on Frozen?
Both of us. That's how we met, actually, is working there for a couple years, four-ish years.
Yeah. A nice studio in Santa Monica.
Yep. It's composer triangle there is like every composer works within like 4 blocks in nice studios in Santa Monica. Yeah.
So what kind of films and what kind of jobs did you do when you worked with Christoph Beck?
Well, we were there during a pretty active run. I'm trying to think. About when I started was when he did the first Muppets movie. And I don't know, through the years, no, it was like 2011 maybe. Anyway, over the next few years, like, did like the third Hangover movie, Hot Tub Time Machine 2, Frozen, Edge of Tomorrow.
Frozen was like it was like the internship.
One?
Frozen was one of the first movies I saw. And no one, I remember hearing Let It Go and just being like, telling like some of my friend at the time, like, they won't stop playing this like Disney song. It's like this new movie. Like, shut up. No one knew it was going to be that big. What else did we do?
Edge of Tomorrow and Ant-Man. And then we both kind of left around the same time, right after.
Peanuts.
Oh, yeah, Peanuts.
It was a wide range. Yeah.
All over the place.
So what kind of things did you do? Like orchestration, or did you work on a particular scene?
All of the above. It's kind of... when you work for another composer, it depends on who you're working for, but it's very kind of an apprenticey type thing where I think on my first day, I probably got coffee and, moved cars around in the parking lot. And probably in my second week, I downloaded some files from the cutting room and then made a spreadsheet. And then, next thing you know, there's a meeting and some music needs revising. And it's like, hey, open up that cue and add a shaker to this part because that's the note, and then you do that, and then bit by bit you just learn how you fit into the operation, and suddenly you start. I did a lot of orchestrating music there and a lot of arranging music, and then writing music, and you just kind of take bigger and bigger chunks. I think it depends on who you're working for anybody. Like, I think no one else would necessarily give you that exact same description, but yeah.
So what's your favorite part of composing?
My favorite part is when you're spotting, which is when you sit down with the director and the editor or whoever, and you sit down and you watch the scenes, and they either have temp music in, which is like the music that the editor will put in just as a placeholder before the composers start working, and you're watching a scene and you're kind of getting like those first inklings of a really cool idea. And you're really excited, like you're watching it, and maybe you'll talk about the director and you get everyone really pumped up about it. And then you go and you're like, oh my God, I'm starting this new thing. I'm doing what I love to do. And I'm scoring this awesome scene the way I want to do it, the way I would want to see it as a viewer. And then that feeling lasts for about a few days, and then it gets rejected. And then you move on in your life.
Then you have a second conversation about everything you did wrong and how to approach it right the next time. And then it usually feels pretty good, I think, when you crack the code.
I agree. It is, and I will say, Cobra Kai, we cracked the code and we did it the way that we always envisioned it doing it. So we're very proud of that. And we're also I think it's a lot of credit to the creators too for being open to the ideas that we had. Yeah.
So in the panel that you were just in, you mentioned that you worked on 3 different themes in the first season, but now for the second season, you've expanded. So what have you done to expand the music in the second season?
Oh, okay. There is one scene that no one's seen season 2, so we can't say what happens, but there is a important scene where nobody will ever know this, but we took actually 5 different character themes and play them on top of each other in various there's one that's sort of taking the lead, but then all the counter lines are actually, if you were to isolate them, each different character theme. And it's because one thing that we're always especially in season 2, we're trying to emphasize is how endlessly related and interconnected this web of characters is, and this was our spot to be what we're seeing on screen, everybody's involved in, even if they're not on screen, and so let's use that as our fabric to do.
I think also Leo in particular in that scene, he's talking about mostly the notes, the notes of the theme. But we do have a lot of fun with taking the different styles. For example, Johnny's kind of sonic world is 80s hair metal influence, like that. And we have moments where, and Daniel's is more orchestral. So, there are moments where maybe Daniel's talking about Cobra Kai, so we'll use the Cobra Kai theme or Johnny's theme or whatever in more of a Daniel orchestration with like an orchestra. Or like my favorite is when you take the stuff that you normally hear in an orchestra and you put like an insane like guitar solo over it with like, the more EDM synthwave sound that we have for the younger students. So we have the most fun doing that. Absolutely.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We have a new theme in season 2 that we use kind of for the Miyagi-Do dojo that's unrelated from our stuff from season 1. And I think we used that theme every single way that we possibly could in the season. Like, the first time you hear it's in the second episode maybe, and you hear it the entire season in every genre.
You'll hear it when you're kind of first introduced to Daniel in the new season, what he's doing. And then it comes back when those philosophies are being used in like real life situations, but maybe there's like some more intensity and some more different types of instrumentation. So yeah, we have a lot of that. And even in the clip that we showed in the beginning of our panel, which your listeners won't be able to see, but it's a montage. It's a Daniel and Robbie montage that we did. We don't normally get to have as much. A lot of Daniel's scenes are kind of like stoic and like emotional. So this was one where we got to have some more fun and kind of score it like like an 80s montage. And like we used the theme that you normally hear on an orchestra, but we did it in like the style of Huey Lewis and the News. Yeah.
Cobra Kai is a character-driven story, I think, more than anything. And we kind of let the music, like, depending on where those characters are at in their headspace, we let that tell us what we should be writing. And, our biggest, most blockbuster scenes, or, like, score cues are probably the scenes where, like, we're following the characters through some major transformative experience. And so, that probably leads us more than anything.
It's funny because I gotta say Cobra Kai is pretty close to. Seriously, it's very rare for composers to feel like they're like film composers to feel as if their voice is truly coming through. And I think this project ended up turning out to be like if you know me, I love 80s stuff. And like I've loved 80s stuff for years and years and years, and I have really like focused on that musically. And Leo comes from like, a jazz background and orchestra. He's a winds player. So like there's tons of flutes in Karate Kid. It just was like the perfect balance of like the things that we each bring and what we both love. And
we get like a powerful story on top of that.
Yeah. And it's like, it's an epic, it's Karate Kid. Like it's pretty nuts. So, but in terms of genre, like, I could go for some like type of like heavy metal, the proper noun, heavy metal, like animated 80s series, like heavy metal meets like some like horror meets some alien stuff meets like, I don't know.
Alien horror? Just, is that
but like really tongue in cheeky, like pretty self-aware. I don't know about you.
I don't even know what mine would be. Something like some take on like Americana Western type of thing, like the big scale Americana Western, but not like sci-fi, because I feel like that mashup.
Not cowboys and aliens.
Yeah, not cowboys and aliens, but like, yeah. I would probably just write like a straight up Western score. I would say like in season 2, one thing we tried to do was bring this like very like retro karate flick sound to it. For like if you watch some of those like B kung fu movies, like the Shaw Brothers movies and whatnot from the 60s, 70s, and we tried to write some like orchestral and percussion stuff that is very much like sounds like that dated, intimate. Yeah, it's exciting for us. It was fun to like, I don't know, reinvent.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And if our Skywalkers want to find you, where can they find you on social media?
My name, at Leo Birenberg.
There you go. I'm at Zach Robinson, ZACH.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate
Sarah,
it.
appreciate it. It was awesome.
Well, that wraps up this episode of the Culture POPCast. I got it.
You did it.
First take.
And we'd like to thank Leo and Zach for joining us. And we'd also like to thank all of you Skywalkers for listening and joining us on Facebook Live right now. Now, coming up on the Culture POPCast, interview with sound designer Derek Vanderhorst, who worked on some amazing superhero films, including Wolverine and Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures was a fantastic superhero film.
He
I can
thinks
tell you
it
that.
is, and it's a really cool conversation about why Hidden Figures is a superhero film. So, gotta listen next time on the Culture POPCast. Now, you can find our family of shows, including Skywalking Through Neverland and Sabers and Spells, at skywalkingthroughneverland.com on Skynet. And you can also find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram. And we also have our Facebook group, which is Facebook, and you search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland group, request to join, and answer the questions that pop up. And now, as a reminder, we have that new t-shirt design, Skywalker's Rise. Head to the Support Us tab on skywalkingthroughneverland.com and click through the link to TeePublic. And soon, Skywalkers, in fact, we may even be recording this tonight, we are going to have a YouTube giveaway for this shirt right behind us, which is the Galaxy's Edge Coca-Cola shirt you could only get at Star Wars Celebration if you attended the Galaxy's Edge panel. So head to youtube.com/skywalkingthroughneverland to find that video to see how you can enter.
Just in time for Galaxy's Edge coming in 1 week.
Woohoo! Thank you for everyone who is part of the Skywalking Force. You are our lifeblood. Now, if you would like to join the Skywalking Force, you can check out skywalkingforce.com. And it's where we plus up our content and offer little extras just for you. Like right now, we just put out our episode of Skywalking Force that we watch Aladdin, the Disney's animated Aladdin, and we did a commentary track to that. So it's really fun, but you can only get that if you're part of the Skywalking Force.
That was the Aladdin version that had the good Jafar.
Yes. Yes, it is.
More on that on the next Skywalking Through Neverland.
That's right. That was your tease. Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's all, folks.
Nanu, Nanu.
You are watching our comments and
Yes,
not
I
paying any
was.
attention.
Rebecca was asking me to lean right, but my right or your right? Now, is it me or does Patrick Stewart have a Coyote Mundi head? He's got like a cone head, doesn't he?
No.
He's got like this.
He's
pointy...
got a perfect head. Shh.
Yeah. Oh yes, he does. Yes, he does. I better move on.